Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Friday, July 17th, 2026. I, of course, am Hammer, founder of Hammer Solutions, home of great products to help my originator friends get more business from Google, AI search, and social media. Products like Originator, Success, Grab and Go Social, and Rate Sensei. Remember, you can join me live each and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Coming to you on Facebook and YouTube. If you would like to get a text reminder so you don't miss a moment of the show, go ahead and sign up for those at hmmr.io/reminder or use this cool QR code that is on the screen. I think whenever I actually start talking, that's when Miss Thing takes it as her cue to come and sit on my lap. So anyway, you guys can go ahead and get that text reminder. You can also sign up to get our free daily lock advice email at www.ratelockadvice.com. Get a copy of the email to your inbox each and every weekday morning, just like this one. Also, if you'd like, you could sign up for our text alerts at www.ratetextalerts.com. You'll get a morning text, you'll get an afternoon wrap-up text, and anytime that we're concerned that we're going to see some reprices, you're going to get those alert texts to help you protect your pipeline. So be sure to check those out as well. All right. So if you are here live this morning, say good morning. Welcome to all the live folks. Sean Segeloff, Amy Blauser, Ron Siegel says today is National Peach Ice Cream Day. Allison Foy, Amy Blauser, Jesse Lynch. Great to have all of you here. Anybody watching the replay, do me a favor, give me a hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you were here as well. We're going to go ahead and jump in and get started. Let me go ahead and share the screen and show you what we got going on this morning. So let me pop this over here. All right. Here you go. So taking a look here, we'll start off with the technicals. You could see that mortgage-backed securities currently up a couple of basis points at the moment, up about 6 basis points on the day. 10-year treasury yield, nice and low, 4.52. That's a good sign, but not necessarily the greatest sign. Quick recap of what happened yesterday. That's down in this bottom corner of the screen. Let me go ahead and make that a little larger so we can see a little bit better. Take a look at what happened yesterday. It was a calm day. Pricing comes out right around 10 a.m., right about here. Bonds ended the day just a little bit better. It was up a little bit from when pricing came out. Not enough to see any real reprices better, though, overall. And as far as where we were at this morning and where things are at this morning, if you take a look, rate sheets today should be, a little bit better. Slightly about the same, maybe a little bit better than yesterday. You can see where we are as far as it's up a little bit. And again, when this goes up, that means slightly better pricing. Bonds not holding the gains that we had this morning. We started out the day much higher, had a little bit of loss, now a little bit of recovery. At 10 a.m., we're going to get the consumer sentiment data, which will help out a little bit. Or at least play a little bit of a role, but not a huge role. Reprice risk on the day is low. Not likely to have to worry about seeing much happen. It is a summer Friday after all. Generally, you're going to see a calm, quiet trading day. After we get that consumer sentiment data, there's really nothing else of merit. However, we do have to worry about heading into the weekend and where we're at. I'm still in a locking stance. Rates have held better than we have any right to expect right now. Let me go ahead and let's resize this and we'll bring this over and we'll talk about this for a minute. So bear with me a second. Let me get this sized. Here you are. So taking a look, basically everything that we're going to see as we head into the weekend is basically going to revolve around what's going on in Iran. The military attacks continue to step up. The U.S. now attacking bridges and let's see. U.S. extends strikes on Iran to bridges and airport in escalation of campaign. So we're seeing increased military attacks. The one thing that has actually been surprising is that oil has held pretty steady. WTI crude right around $81 a barrel. That's higher than it was yesterday. Yesterday it closed at around 79 and it was right around that $80, but still not shooting up. If we take a look at Brent crude, I like to follow Brent. Brent's at 86.74. Once again, surprisingly staying in those mid 80s up into $100, $110 a barrel like we saw in the past. If we go ahead and take a look at the 3 months here, you could see that we had that happening back over here, much, much higher oil prices than what we're seeing right now. The reason that I bring this up is that we have to be very aware that if oil does go back up, if we see oil pushing back higher, we're going to see rates that are going to be higher, and they'll be the highest rates that we've seen in the year. If we go back, take a look here at Mortgage News Daily, turn off all these other things, pull this into a much smaller, here you go. So you could see 6.75 was the high point for rates. That was also the high point back on May 19th. This time around, we would also have the added pressure of Fed rate hikes on top of that, which would push rates higher. So even though, I mean, right now you're probably looking at, say, 6.64 again. Let's take a look, right? So if we see here, let's do the 5-day. So right now we're at 99.97. When pricing came out, we were right around the same level. So you're likely picking up some of the gains. You're back at around 6.64, 6.65 this morning. And that is very much in line. We've really been lucky to see rates hold steady. They pushed and tested at 6.75 early in the week when on Monday, and they've eased down quite a bit since then. I would take advantage of it and lock that in. It's not likely we see rates that are going to get much better than that. Anything we have seen hasn't lasted for long and has had a reason. So, we were about 1/8 of a point better at the end of June. And then they pushed back up. Next week, there's really no economic data of anything besides the regular jobless claims and the ADP weekly thing now. Next week, there's not going to be anything happening. You're going to see a lot of it has to do with expectations of Fed rate hikes. Let's refresh this here. Next week is the week before the Fed meeting. So right now, markets don't expect a Fed rate hike until later in the year, but it's a 75% chance, expectation, speculation, whatever you want to call it, that we do see a rate hike by the end of the year. And that's what markets are currently pricing in. If that starts to go in higher, if oil prices go higher, rates are going to creep higher. Not going to see rates that are going to surge or dramatically jump, but they could move higher. Overall, it's a good day to lock up some loans, protect yourself over the weekend that we don't know what's going to happen, and see what that is. So that's what I've got for you today. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Let's see if you guys have anything to say. Good morning, Yasmin, Greta. Ron Siegel said next week is a calm before the storm of the Fed meeting. Yeah. So the Fed meeting on the 29th, when, and it should be a Fed press conference, although Warsh, new Fed chair Kevin Warsh, has said that he didn't want to be escalating the the forecast of what he didn't want to be broadcasting to markets, or not pulling it properly here, get my words right, but basically he doesn't want to be pushing out what the Fed is going to do. He wants it to be a little more closer to the vest, but he has not said that he won't have a press conference. So I would say, he may do it right before the meeting, but as of right now, there hasn't been any announcement that there won't be a press conference. The statement is certainly even less wordy than it was before because they're not giving any forward guidance for the Fed, but other than that, I think that we'll be there. So hello, Ms. Fodiatis, live but late. Glad you could join us. So anyway, what are y'all doing this weekend? Hope you all have a good weekend. Tomorrow, I'm going to my son's house and wrap up a couple of projects with him real quick before he has a housewarming, an open house housewarming on Sunday, him and his wife, to their new house that they got in January. And so I'll be doing a lot of husband, honey-do list type stuff over the weekend. Let me know what you're doing in the comments, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Take care, everybody. Make it a fantastic week, and keep on keeping on. Bye-bye.